Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Journeymen podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Welcome, Fantasy Football Journeyman. This is episode 19. I'm being producer today, so we got Bobo behind the screen. I got a little too much sun in Florida, and I really don't want to be on camera. But let's bring you over to our hosts, Woj and Ryan. Take it away, boys.
Oh, hell yeah, Bobby. Let's get back into it. Fantasy Football Journeyman podcast.
Hola.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We're bilingual. All right. So
Get after it.
yeah, Bobby, I will just mention though at the top though that you're still going to be kind of commenting.
Oh,
it's not like your producer
an active participant
behind the scenes like kind of our previous producer was.
You're like in the penalty box almost.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I am in the penalty box right now. The sun was not my friend. I did enjoy it, though, man.
Yeah, dude. That's
Game
cool.
misconduct.
Oh, I totally would in NHL. I'd be one of those guys. I'd be a goon if I could
used to
be.
get them all the time.
I wish I could be.
When we play, cause you just check the shit out of them every fucking time.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
Puck drops, it's on.
I have like 72 hits at the end of the game. He has like 25. It's great. I love it.
I mean, sometimes you win, though.
He gets the win. No, he gets the win. You're getting the
lose.
win, but I'm getting the hits. I'll take it.
Which is more important? Comment below.
Which is more fun? Comment below.
Fuck you. All right, moving on. So to open the show, let's kind of rattle around. There's been some head coaching hires. What are you
shaking his head already?
Well, I called it. I told you guys on the pod. I mentioned it to many people. Fucking Harbaugh. I said we got like make the call. Talk to him, see what's up. At least do your due diligence, and maybe you have a chance. I mean, probably would have had a good chance at it, but maybe not. Maybe my friend brought us up at work. Maybe he went to San Diego because he knows how shitty the Bears organization is and would not want to work for those idiots. So I don't blame him.
You're going to say something else right
maybe
there.
Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But either way, I'm pissed off because, again, I said we had a chance. I said he wants to come back to the NFL. He wants to get another Super Bowl. He didn't get it with San Fran. He's competitive. He's already accomplished whatever at Michigan. I could see him leaving for a team that, he has some type of past with, which he played only 1 year in San Diego. It was last year in the league, which is.
I'm gonna throw out a question though. Is like, do you think it has anything to do with the weather?
I think I was
like
gonna
he's
say,
like
it could be possibly
cold as shit in Chicago.
It could be possibly too. LA is a great place to live, better place to coach. You have Justin Herbert, but I mean, it's not like we have bad things either. Like outside of the weather, or whatever. I mean, he coached in Michigan, so it's cold up there. I'm sure he's used to it. But outside of that, like he was drafted by us. He was a good quarterback for us, for our franchise. He has, I'm sure he knows people in the organization. I would think he knows people still. Also, we have the number 1 pick, so you can take whoever you want. And I don't know. I'm assuming it's got to be something that maybe he wants some more control than they're willing to give him, or he doesn't like the organization, or the Bears are just stupid. They just didn't make the call. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I think though that the decision to not get rid of Eberflus just to open up simply for Mark to be in the market for a head coach with the free agent coaching class that was out there, I think that was dumb. You should at least excuse me, if Eberflus isn't going to be the guy in 2 years from now and you have kind of doubts about him now, why not just get rid of him? See who you can get. Maybe you get a young up-and-comer type of motherfucker, though, that like could get your guys energetic, It
seems to me that they only kept him, or mostly kept him, because of how good the defense turned around during the second half of the season. And it's his defense. He calls the plays and whatever. And that's nice, but there's another half of there's two-thirds of the team besides the defense that you need to address.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, like, wouldn't it be, I don't know, can you just hire one of his underlings to coach the defense or get a guy similar to him if the other coach you bring in likes it? I don't know. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
for,
Bobby,
for what it's worth, though,
Buffalo
the Bears'
Springfield
defense definitely.
They look good.
No, they look good. They stepped up. They were firing on all cylinders. So call that whatever you will to, I guess, keep your spot or earn your spot. But one thing that kind of threw me for a loop was, and I just did a little research on this prior to the podcast, was Bill Belichick did not make the cut for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they went with Raheem
I think
Morris.
Negotiations, fell through. But my question, I guess, to you guys, what's Atlanta's future look like now that who is it? Who's the coach? I think
Raheem Morris.
Yeah, exactly.
Raheem Morris.
So where do you see them going? Go ahead.
Hold on, before we jump to that, because we're gonna hit like 4 or 5 of these.
Okay.
Give me your real quick opinion though of Eberflus at the end of the Bears season. Should they have fired him? Should they have kept him? Just shot out of cannon.
Should have been clean house.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, so Atlanta, you have Raheem Morris, who was DC on who?
He was the Rams defensive coordinator. He used to be the head coach of the Buccaneers.
That's right. Okay.
I think he used to be their defensive coordinator before that.
And Dan Quinn, sorry, this is just an add-on. We don't have to. He went to the Commanders.
He did, and he was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, former head coach of the Seahawks, and they went to the Super Bowl and blew that infamous lead to the Patriots.
Or just not rushing the ball. Give Lynch the ball, he'll get it in. But
either way.
Yep.
I mean, dude,
the lead was blown.
You could talk about that play till the end of time.
I'm sure it pisses him off every time too.
But it's been so examined now for so long.
Well, no, that one that you're thinking of was.
He said, "Give Lynch the ball." I'm thinking of 1 yard rush.
I wish we could bring Marshawn Lynch.
That was
on.
Pete
He'll
Carroll.
never come on.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of him when he's Atlanta, the Atlanta head coach.
No. I'm talking about Marshawn Lynch. If we're talking, yeah.
We don't check facts here, folks.
Atlanta blowing the lead, though, yeah.
He was their defensive. He was the Seahawks defensive coordinator. Then he became the Atlanta head coach. That's what I meant to say. And then he blew the lead in the Super Bowl with Atlanta.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, back on track.
So, but Raheem what's your feeling about Raheem Morris in Atlanta? I think the team's bad. You got to have an improvement over Arthur Smith. He didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if they have all the elements there to foster up, and I don't even think it's a rebuild at this point. I'm not certain what is the right next step. And I'm a football guy. I really love football, but I'm not seeing what I need to on Atlanta in whole that'll put them in a competitive position next year.
Yeah, in a rebuild, right?
Pretty much in a rebuild. Granted, it's a rebuild, but
why'd your voice change right there?
I know, but I don't see it as a true rebuild. I see it as, I think, there's a bunch of SpaghettiOs all over the table, and you're just kind of spreading it around.
Okay,
I don't see a cleanup.
I like the expression. I don't think I've ever heard that. Bunch of SpaghettiOs on the table.
But you know what I'm saying, though? It's just like you guys are shuffling the same deck of cards, and you expect a different result. Sorry.
That's psycho.
I was going to say, I don't know. I mean, I know in the past that the Rams have had a good defense. I thought that was more because of Sean McVay.
And Atlanta's defense was good for what it's worth, for at least good enough, or at least somewhat noticeable in certain games. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Raheem Morris, I don't recall him being that great of a coach on the Bucs. I don't think he was terrible. I think he was okay. So, I mean, I guess you get a second chance with him. But if I'm them, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking more offensive because you got Bijan and the Pitts and all these weapons. Maybe you want to get an offensive-minded coach more. I guess you could get a really good offensive coordinator with him if he has someone in mind. But I think I would lean more towards an offensive coach if I were them.
Dude, I totally get that, man. I absolutely think that the switching of quarterbacks, like Atlanta was one of those teams that switched their quarterbacks like 3 or 4 times, couple times during games.
They still need a quarterback.
It just was so it's like, I don't know, that's like football 101 to me. Is like, as much as you may think that this guy can't perform, like, you still got to give him the team, the reins. Otherwise, you're starting to instill a bit of doubt.
You're accepting defeat, essentially.
But you're instilling doubt in the team of, like, we don't know who the fuck our quarterback is. And I just hate the switching of it. Just stay with one guy, see what he does. And then if he's really terrible, like, you can see that. If he's literally got 6 games in, he's 0-6 with a bunch of picks, like, now you know.
I feel bad for the Jets because that's pretty much their MO when Wilson came in. Yeah. Jets.
There's a sad. I wish I have the sad trombone thing. I would have you hit it.
Yeah, it's Charlie Brown missing the kick.
I was going to say, speaking of Atlanta, that old head coach got hired by Pittsburgh to be their offensive coordinator.
Arthur Smith. Yeah, that was a wild hire.
I don't know. I'm feeling
Pittsburgh is another mess.
I don't know. I'm feeling about that.
Pittsburgh's another mess.
If I'm a Steelers fan, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know, man. But I want to talk about 2 more.
Dos más.
Patriots hired Jared Mayo. We talked about it.
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. Don't fact check. But they had the clause we talked about on one of the other podcasts because it happened pretty early on. What do you guys think their future is, though, as the Pats? Really no identity as a quarterback, new head coach.
Can I say this without sounding like a dick? I'm
Probably.
happy to see the Pats go back to true Pats form, like pre-Brady.
You
Call
knew
me
it
a
was
jerk.
coming.
I think they're going to be bad for a while.
What's a while?
5 years.
Okay.
I
That's
don't
not
know.
crazy.
Like, I mean, like,
Go back
I
to
mean,
being
maybe
that-
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe John Mayo's an amazing coach. I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, I just think that I don't know. Like, interesting they hire from within the organization after they've been bad for the last few years. You would think they might want to branch out, but I guess
They committed to Gerard Mayo.
yeah. I mean, they must be really confident
when they hired him, though.
Yeah,
Because he had that clause in the contract that if Belichick was to leave. I actually like that little bit, though, because that does kind of – why don't teams do this more? Of like, I get that you could have a great free agent coach available, but if you're like, hey, man, like I think you're a great asset to the team, you have, the experience,
Building in those clauses,
whatever.
I get it, yeah.
If you're still in the organization by the time that the head coach, this next head coach leaves, you'll be considered for the position. And granted, even at that time, it also if you put this in there, you could allow the coach to like opt out and be like, no, I don't like the way that your franchise is going, and I'm gonna leave and go get a head coaching job elsewhere. Like, I think that's so intricate. It gives the coach like another year or so, or a couple years, without really giving him the head coach saying, hey, I need results like right now.
I think that kind of falls in line with one of the things I mentioned in a previous podcast. Like for the Bears, even if you keep Fields, bringing on your number one quarterback, what's his name that you guys want to pick up,
Williams,
and let him just like be an apprentice for a year. Give him a chance to see the ropes rather than throwing him right into the ring.
Yeah, they just don't do that anymore.
I know they should. There's proven results. Look at
feel
Green
like
Bay.
What the last person was Rodgers, right? You could think of that. Did that?
I mean, to really excel, obviously, Rodgers.
What about hold on? Even think about. I guess this is a bad one, but Brady was under Bledsoe for a while.
Well, yeah, I was thinking more of like a first-round pick that they use.
You're okay. So, you're right.
sit.
Okay, so sorry.
Even so, though, I think that Brady only played like a year or two under, maybe a year.
It's more likely like someone like
Maybe,
that, like
yeah.
for
Maybe a
example,
year.
a Brady or a Brock Purdy. You're drafted late. You're gonna, if you're good enough, you can.
You're trying to just stay on the squad
Right,
at
and
that
then
point. I get
hopefully you get an opportunity, some fluke.
You're right.
or
You're right.
some-
That isn't a fair comparison.
But like when you're a first-round pick, there's more pressure to play them right away.
So the last one I just wanted to hit on real quick here. The Titans, they hired Brian Callahan, I think is his name.
Who?
That's what I was going to ask you guys. You guys know who this guy is, or
No, like I said, I was just doing some pre-notes.
Bo Callahan from Draft Day.
he was doing some research before the
I was
pod.
doing some research, but the name didn't. I hope it rang true with one of you guys because
No, I have no idea who
Sorry,
that
yeah,
is.
I can't Pac-Man this thing together. I can't connect the dots.
So we're just gonna leave it there and say good luck, Brian. All right. You were talking though about Purdy. Let's switch over to the. Before we get to the Super Bowl, let's do the quick breakdown of the AFC NFC championships.
Breakdown.
Start with Baltimore, Bob.
Oh my God, Rex Ryan. I sent out a quick blurb. It was a 30-second interview, but Rex Ryan kind of going over it. 82% of the plays on Baltimore's offense were passing plays. Baltimore is not a passing team. They run the ball. You have Lamar
Very well.
Jackson. Get him out there. Get him in the open. Get him out of the pocket, and he's dangerous. I don't know what that game was. I don't know how to characterize what was once a stellar season going into a solid playoff performance against first round
Miami. No, I'm sorry. They didn't. Baltimore played Houston.
Houston and stomped them.
Yeah,
and
it was
then
pretty. Not
and then losing to Mahomes.
Well, I was going to say I picked both games right this last week for my personal. We have like a pool at work or whatever.
Okay.
I just thought I don't know, something about Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs this time of year. They know how to get it done. I don't know, like they're just always they find the right play at the right time.
Didn't they squeak into the playoffs too? Right?
No, they were the third seed, I think, or something.
Yeah, they were the third.
Okay.
I would,
I mean, definitely not one of their better teams, I would say, I guess, but
No, definitely not. But you're hitting on the head. They find a way to win somehow, some way. I would just say though that they definitely avoided a bigger firefight in the first round against Buffalo. Maybe that game would have gone to overtime there. maybe would have been a little bit more beat up.
Definitely playing Miami.
Make a field goal, Buffalo. Man, that is their kryptonite right now. Missing field goals.
Definitely playing Miami too in the freezing cold.
Yeah,
they're horrible in that weather.
So what I would say though is that I think Baltimore being a running first team, what are you doing calling that many pass plays? But then I also do understand a little bit of like, you are playing San Fran. You do need to score, do need to move the ball.
You mean the Kansas City?
Oh, I'm sorry, against Kansas City. You need to, still pass though, because even Mahomes, insert whoever's fucking name, in the playoffs, they score points. So you have to be driving the ball down the field. I think you could have done...
Not this year, though. Kansas City has not performed, like, to your point, like, they just drive the score up. That's not been their case this year. So Baltimore should have taken a more conservative approach and I think earned the clock. Just churn and burn the clock, and then long drives, like 8-minute drives to a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was gonna get to. There was the fact that they can run the ball effectively. Lamar has broken off big gains previously. That's where I was really surprised, and I'm like, they were looking honestly like the Bears' goddamn offense out there, where you have a running weapon. You don't run any options. That's what I've always been saying when we got Fields. Yeah. You got to be running these speed options, triple options, all this shit, because it confuses the defense. He breaks through a seam. He's got that speed, same as Lamar, that they just can work it out. And, again, they don't run. They got pummeled. It was an awful game to watch.
Well, I was going to say, too, for Baltimore, they've gone through a lot of running backs this season, unfortunately. A lot of injuries there. Maybe if you have a better running back, one of your other guys, maybe they're running it more. Maybe that's why they were hesitant. I don't know.
But they abandoned the run.
No, they should not abandon the run.
Early.
You're right. You're right. And it would also, I think, help them too. They need like a number one receiver still, like a go-to.
Okay, that's fair.
Odell Beckham's old, and he used to be fantastic, but he's not the Odell Beckham of 2015.
He's old for the position.
Right. And then Zay Flowers is still coming along. He had that
likely
fumble.
Oh my god!
That fumble.
Mark Andrews is great, but he got injured, so he's coming off injury. Mm-hmm. You need a number one. Like if they had like a Tyreek Hill or a DK Metcalf or someone Lamar could rely in, I really think that would help their team out a lot.
I definitely agree. I also think though that the thing that I've been saying about Lamar, I mean it's a little bit of Lamar hate. I'll take it, but I was arguing with John in the group chat about my feelings of Lamar is that he is not an elite quarterback in the fact that I don't view him as one of the best quarterbacks. I think he's a great
I actually agree with Woj on this.
Position player.
I don't.
Yeah, just give me a quick point. Man. Passing wise though, that's what I'm.
He's not as good of a passer as Pat Mahomes, but he's certainly one of the top.
I don't see it. I don't see it. He averages piss poor yards because of their game plan as well. I think that's also what hurt them though. Going into this is that all these teams that they played, the majority of the times they could just run and run and run. Game over.
And
they
their
met
defense
the first team,
literally stomped.
And dude, is the one part as we're gonna shift over to the next game here though is that the Lamar debate again is another thing that we could talk about for 20 hours. Did I do that?
No. Go.
Okay. Shifting gears.
Shifting gears.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, dude, it's just again the Lamar debate. I don't mean any hate, John. If you're watching this, it's all love, brother. But it's just again,
our 12 fans will be.
It's just an opinion of that's what I'm feeling. But
again, I was just saying, go back to what I said. If he gets a better receiver, a more legitimate receiver, I mean,
they could use a little bit more of a threat on the outside.
Pat Mahomes, granted, he's doing well without that, but he's Pat Mahomes. He's like.
But I also look at it, if you're going to be viewed as an elite quarterback, you should be able to work with less than weapons. Case in point, Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Aaron Rodgers had a lot of talent around.
He had a lot of talent, but near the end, he was still producing with guys who were definitely past their prime and very rookie guys.
Okay.
I would argue
I grab my hands around that.
I would say Aaron Rodgers probably made MVS's career by having he had a breakout year and then fucking went over to KC where he's been. But okay, other side, Detroit.
Oh my God! Yeah, Detroit, San Fran.
Let's just say I called that choke.
Did you?
Yeah, we were watching. I was watching it at work, and they're like, they were doing work. They're up by like it was 27-7 or something. 7. And I was like, all right, well, there's still half to go. And then like you just see it happening. The fourth down, they don't get it. Guy drops the ball. That lucky drop by the guy, and then Ayuk catches it for the
Yeah, it was a crazy
set up the touchdown.
Fantastic play though, and just in terms of like how he adjusted to it, he almost scored a touchdown. They brought it back,
It's
and
just
then they
like,
scored.
and then
right
they
there.
don't kick the field goal. What are they doing?
Yeah, Bobby, what are you doing in that situation, man?
Points always. I guess
I
use
agree.
Green Bay as a reference tool if you need to, as historical. Get points on this team. But the one thing that I mentioned in a previous, I know I've said this twice now, Goff in the second half is not productive. So when they were up by a lot, I was like, we really haven't seen much of a second half performance from Goff and company. So when the game started to slip out of hand, I'm like, go figure.
Yeah, I gotta say though, Goff, it wasn't his fault. They were dropping the balls. He was putting them right. That guy Josh Reynolds dropped two of them. at
Reynolds,
least. They
yeah,
were
should
wide
reconsider
open
his
first-
profession.
Wide open first downs. I don't blame.
That would extend. No, so I don't blame Goff in that sense, but their team just failed to show up in the second
It was
half.
like once San Fran started getting the pressure on and started stuffing the run, they had no answer on offense for that defense.
Well, I think that Detroit really, I mean, there are a couple coaches' decisions that I think you go, either way. I agree with you, take the points, Bobby, on that. But in the same sense of it, I think you could have changed your play calling a little bit to catch San Fran, in terms of like from the, as you said, Ryan, started to stop the run. Start throwing out some more creative stuff where they're very creative at Detroit. They had a lot of stuff where I'm seeing like I think they did a flea flicker actually that game, but like
Gibbs and Montgomery could have been used at more of a capacity.
I'm not saying to do those all the time, but I feel like a big play like that could have kept their momentum enough to outlast San Fran. But as Bobby put in the notes there, it was just a second half collapse. Like I mean. Unbelievable game in my mind to watch because I was able to just like chill out and be like, this is a great football game. Good plays, big comeback in the second half. Detroit scores late still. I was like, hey, NFL, good script on that.
Part of me was like Detroit being Detroit. They'll always find a way to lose even though they're up by so much. That's like growing up, that's always been the case. Oh my God, Detroit's up, 21-3, and they'll find a way.
Dan Campbell, man, I like him, but I like going for on fourth sometimes is good, but
Not that
every time. Like, you got to know, like, it's like that game against the Cowboys we talked about when they got that bullshit call against them and he had that trick play reversed. And they go for it again, even though they got a penalty before. So now they're even back farther. It's like you got to know when to, like, just fold them sometimes. Like,
Gotta
know when to hold 'em.
read the room.
Know when to fold 'em.
Know when to walk away.
Know when to run.
You better count your money.
All right, so are we
Love
starting our music career right now? Is this the
You're
coming out?
sitting at the table.
Ooh, we got to think of a good Western name for all of us.
I was also
Put it in the
that's-
comments. What are you thinking?
That's good. I was also going to say definitely I might be thinking of a Western themed movie.
Oh, yeah.
Tombstone.
Doom.
No. Dude,
I'll
let's
be your Huckleberry.
let's wrap it up here real quick because we're actually gonna push some of these stuff. Those are great notes, man. We're gonna definitely cover some of those other ones later, next episode maybe. But let's talk real quick about Brady in the booth. Like confirmed to it, he's gonna be
Oh, really?
Fox's lead guy.
This is a Woj bomb. I didn't know
Make
this.
sure- It's not gonna catch on. There's
I did. Let's catch it on.
but yeah, so he's for sure going to be back
For Fox.
for Fox.
Is he gonna be like
For
the,
Fox's
the
sake.
main guy, like the new
He is-
Aikman and Joe Buck, but him and whoever?
Yeah, I believe it's him and
Good.
Kevin Harlan.
Good.
Okay.
No offense. Like I like listening to Aikman. He knows football, but I'm
I
just.
like
Do you
down
think
with
Tom
Fox.
Brady will be good? I mean, this is what we're getting into. I don't know if
I think he's a likable guy to about.
I like Romo.
I don't-
I take Romo.
I
over
don't know if I
Brady.
see Tom Brady being like entertaining to listen to. I'm sure he has a lot of insight, but I don't know. Yeah, like his
You're right though. What kind of parlance will he have? What kind of vibe will he put out there?
Like Peyton Manning's kind of funny, and Eli, they're kind of like jokey, and same with Tony Romo.
But they're brothers, dude.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, but even Peyton Manning, he's been on like sketches on Saturday Night Live, and he has a history of
He has a humorous
right,
like tone
it's
to
not.
him. Yeah.
But Tom Brady, I don't know. I don't.
No, yeah,
see
I
it.
don't get that
He
same
was on
vibe.
Entourage for an episode.
Yeah,
He
but
was
no.
fine
Tom
in
Brady,
it.
if you're looking for humor, I think
not him.
you're not gonna find Tom Brady. I think that it's more about if he does I don't want to have the same thing as Romo. I just would like somebody to do it better than Romo, and that like
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I get that Romo's very knowledgeable about the game.
You want the knowledge without the weird, like...
It's like smugness that I feel is
Like
coming through the system.
The
Thank
sound
you.
effects.
I have that same feeling, like this era of just, or this aura of just, well, if I was out there, I could only imagine him saying, how he'd critique things because, he's got so much, metal around his hands,
Yeah, well, not metal, but like he did have a historic career for sure. But again, it's your preference. I will say that it's your preference about that. I personally turn the volume down on any game because I don't like fucking listening to announcers.
I was just gonna say,
Except John Madden, R.I.P.
Sometimes it's the people you wouldn't think who would be like the guy who was like a role player, and they're the best announcers. Just because the guy was like one of the greatest of all time doesn't mean he's going to be a good play-by-play guy. Like he has the knowledge, I'm assuming, and the experience, but it might not translate to TV. I mean, we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see.
All right, let's end it real quick for this first segment on who would you like to see as like a somebody who is not an announcer now, but sports personality, sports athlete, either currently playing or even like retired. Mine. Who would you want to see in the booth?
Shannon Sharp just talking. He's very entertaining. I would listen to Shannon Sharp do a broadcast or call a game, be a color commentator. I think it'd be great.
Okay, Shannon Sharp's a good answer. What do you got, Ryan? Anything?
I mean,
I can go.
I like. Most people probably wouldn't agree with it. I love Charles Barkley. I'd love to just listen to him call a game. Like sometimes he has dumb shit, but he's funny, entertains me.
Okay, entertaining. You're going over entertaining. I did have actually now that I think about it, like entertaining answer would for sure be Shaq. I would definitely listen
Shaq Diesel
to that all day long. The real answer, though, the thing that I think would be like a good knowledge / like I think arrogance, but also like he's considered one of the best is like Randy Moss. So like he is the analyst now.
He was on Fox. I was gonna say. He was
I would rather listen to.
But I'm saying like, I was just mentioning like the
Steve
current
Smith
season.
Sr. I'd rather listen to. I think
he's good.
I like him as.
I think
like
Randy
as well.
Moss, dude. Randy Moss. I'm not taking anything away from him. The guy's a GD All-Star.
Yeah.
But I think I just
stands
don't.
for goddamn.
I don't see him being that fruitful in providing like in-depth commentary or providing a different perspective that's outside of maybe the offensive, wide receiver game.
I got you, man. Yeah, well, we'll, dude, I would love to check back in like 20 years and we're like, hey, we called it, Randy Moss. But this will do it for the first little segment. Coming up, pretty stoked about it. Movie review. We're gonna do The Office, and stay tuned. It's gonna be dope.
If you come back, that'd be great. Okay. Welcome back to the pod. We will be discussing the 1999 comedy from director Mike Judge, Office Space. One of, I believe, among our favorites of all of us. This will be the first time we're doing a pod where we've all seen the movie and have a experience with it, so it should be interesting. So I just want to get into our personal history with Office Space. When did you first see it? What were your thoughts when you saw the movie? Let's go to Bobby.
I saw this when I was younger. I think this came out, it had to be just around middle school or high school, and I caught it after school one of these days, but immediately had a great, I guess I wasn't in the business world yet. I didn't understand a little bit about some of the antics that were going on in the movie, but funny context, funny characters. It's always a good laugh.
Woj.
Yeah, I mean, probably most of these movies in the early 2000s, honestly, I think I really saw most of them probably like 7 to 10 years later, especially in like college. I just had more time to just chill out, watch movies.
You didn't see Office Space till 2009-ish, you're saying?
I mean, probably something close to that. If I did see it at the time, I would have been 7 when it came out, or 7, 8. So I probably didn't see it at that time.
Interesting.
Or at least remember it. So definitely saw it more in college, but then obviously became a pretty huge fan of it from there.
Nice. Yeah, I saw it. For me, I remember it came out in 99, so I was 10. I probably saw it a year or two later, like 11 or 12. They'd always play it on Comedy Central. And I used to have cable then, so I would always flip the channels, and that would come on. And I just, like I said, like you guys just grew to love it. It actually was my favorite movie for like a few years when I was growing up. I loved it that much.
Was this before Aniston became huge with Friends?
She was already on Friends. So
Okay.
actually it ties into the movie. I was going to say that Mike Judge, the only way he could hire the actors he wanted to hire, the lesser-known actors like Ron Livingston at the time and whoever else, was to have a one big star. Jennifer Aniston was the one big star.
Cute Jennifer.
The asses in the seats, if you will. So, yeah, she had been on that point at Friends for like 5 years.
Okay, so Friends was earlier in the 90s. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was closer
But
to
her
the
movie
end.
career wasn't yet. So it was one of her first movie roles.
Okay.
You know, like Leprechaun was her first movie role, but like one of her more prominent early.
First movie role as she was building fame.
Right,
'Cause,
exactly.
Yeah, she wasn't in anything from 90, whatever.
And Ron
whenever Friends
Livingston, I'm not
started.
sure if he's been in much work
He
after.
was in Swingers a few years
Who are
years
we
before
talking
that.
about?
Ron Livingston.
Livingston, yeah.
He was in Swingers, and then I think that besides that, not too many other things. And then, like I said, Stephen Root and Michael Bolton, who was David Herman, he said his name was.
David Herman.
They both worked with Mike Judge on his show King of the Hill. So that's how they got to work on the movie.
Love that show.
Yeah, I love it too. So, okay.
right.
Let's see what else I got here.
I mean, I also just mentioned real quick that Ron Livingston, I would say most of the more known movies from me
Yeah.
definitely happened within the last like 10 years.
Is
or
this your
whatever.
guys' favorite Mike Judge work? He has Beavis and Bud, King of the Hill, Idiocracy, Extract, Silicon Valley, and Office Space. Would you say is this your favorite thing he's done or something else?
I've never seen Silicon Valley. I do want to. It's on the list though for sure. I would say it's definitely up there. The only one that would also kind of rival that is King of the Hill is pretty unmatched for sure. But that's kind of it. I mean,
that's not playing by the
Extract
same
was
rules
funny.
as,
It wasn't.
you
It
know.
wasn't my
It's
greatest.
TV and movie are different, but they're both created by him.
Right, no. So King of the Hill obviously is just a pinnacle, TV show that we grew up with. Love it. But Idiocracy,
Idiocracy definitely.
like I said, that was pleasantly funny to me because I didn't have high expectations or hopes going into it based on the trailer and what the movie was about. But lo and behold, we're in a state of emergency right now, even in the U.S. with people that have no brains running the country.
Definitely a good flick. I'll say that.
For me, definitely Office Space and King of the Hill, just like you, Woj. Two of my favorites. All right, so let's go to let's discuss our favorite scenes. Scenes when you're flipping channels that you'd love to, if you come upon them, that's the one you want to see. Woj, what do you got? Well, name one of your scenes.
Printer breaking montage.
Okay, with the Ghetto Boys Still song going and the baseball bat, and they take out to the field.
Yeah, I stole something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I feel like we all stole something. He's like, nah, I actually stole something.
Yeah.
The gangster rap really makes it this movie.
I mean, dude, it's the slow-mo of it, and I was thinking about this, just a real quick point about it. The reason that I find it so enjoying, though, is that they are so awkward in, like, their movements or whatever. You saw it in, like, the dancing scene after they...
I was going to say that ties in with the breaking of the printer afterwards.
But it is just that thing, though, of, like, awkward guys busting a printer where, like, not throwing, like, real solid punches or whatever, and I'm thinking about him like he probably has some busted up knuckles after that. It just makes me chuckle
Michael
anyway you
Bolton
look at it.
uses the
The
bat,
pure rage in his eyes when he's hitting it. Yeah.
and he uses the bat the wrong way with the knob instead of swinging it.
Have you? So this is also a kind of theme that I'll kind of tie back in though. Is like as you have that office job though now, and you've been in an office setting, it makes so much more sense.
Yes.
So like people who lived in a corporate America, I feel like this really ties in because I have been that rageful at a fucking printer copier, and I'm like, but I will get to the things. I'm just saying that I do see that theme.
One of my favorite scenes that might not be on everyone's, immediate radar was when he had the session with the therapist, and then, it clicks over.
Yeah.
But immediately walks in there, the thing was chill music going. He, undoes the door first, walks right around his boss, goes to the meeting with the Bobs. So I guess for me, the meeting with the Bobs, that conversation, I just couldn't get enough of it. I was laughing my ass off. He's like, it's not that, it's not that, I'm lazy. It's just there's no,
It's just that I don't care.
It's just I don't care. I was like, wow, man, that equates someone.
If Initech pushes more stuff, I don't see a dime.
Right.
Yeah,
What's
no,
my
you're
motivation?
Yeah, you're talking about that like
that
kind of
whole
lazy
conversation, that whole dialogue between those guys.
But it's like you're talking about from the start of like the
that
lazy
progression
weekend
scene, yeah.
kind of vibe of Peter.
Yes,
dude,
that whole progression.
Yeah, that's pretty
you know, where he undoes, he does the fish, and it's just all the antics at his desk in that one kind of follow-up scene, or
What do you got, Ryan?
For me, I have a tough time deciding between these two, so I'll just say them both. I either have the introduction of Lawrence, where he's like, "Hey, Peter, man, check this chick out." And he's like, comes over, he's like, Lawrence, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can hang out this week. I feel like my girlfriend, she's just cheating on me. I get that feeling. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Me too, or whatever. He's like, what are you talking about? And then when he talks about what do you do with $1 million, he's like 2 chicks at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's like, why? That's all you do? Hell yeah, damn straight. I always wanted to do that.
He's like, I figure a guy looks like me. Dude, that type of cash will set that up.
Yeah, type of chicks that double up on a guy like me.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then also the Bob's interview with Tom / Michael Bolton. Where they go,
Tom's great.
No.
What is
both
it that
of them.
you do here?
Both
what
of
would
them,
you
okay.
say you do here?
You're talking about them both individually.
The scenes were kind of like back to back intertwined. So
You know what's weird? Sorry, just to interject here. They didn't do one with Samir.
No, they didn't. It must have been deleted.
A
Scene
deleted
or something.
scene. That'd be
I don't
interesting.
know. And then he's like, "What do you? I help the damn customer. What the hell is wrong with you people?" I fucking love that guy. And then
I'm a people person.
Richard Ryle.
the whole thing with Michael Bolton, where he's like, "That is just a great. You must love his music." He's like,
"What's your favorite song?"
Yeah.
He died. Like part of him died.
Yes,
when
I
he
just love them all.
Me too,
I know what
dude.
you mean. I'm a Michael Bolton fan.
Yeah. So yeah, the interview scenes are definitely classic. I definitely love those as well.
Yeah. You guys have any like underrated ones? Maybe, like you said one. Do you have a one that people maybe not think of that you like? I was thinking like we were talking about before the pod, the intro scene with the traffic.
Yeah.
And they keep switching lanes and it's the wrong lane. And
we've all been there, especially with
old
Chicago
man and
traffic.
The walkers going past him, and Michael Bolton's listening to the gangster rap and turning it down when the black guy comes by his car and locking the door. That shit that gets.
We are going to talk about the music soundtrack.
Yes,
right?
we are. No,
okay,
I
I'm
was
gonna save that kind of thing because
No,
it
that
goes
scene,
into.
though, that radiates with me. We've all been there. You know what bothers me the most, and if people from Chicago, y'all know this, it's either when you're on the 90, the 294 split, and everyone's flying on the right, and they cut over to the 90, right at that interchange. Yeah. I've been that prick too, who went right through that median area to get myself, snake.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, man. But like the thing that I definitely don't miss is that commute. I'm working remote for sure, so that's helpful for right now, dude. I'll tell you though, one time, man, I was driving down 53. This is such a like Illinois type of thing. Hey, man, let me tell you this one time I was driving down the street. So I was driving.
Comments.
I was driving down 53 and then getting off at Lake Cook, and you get off to the right there or whatever, and then you pull onto that thing, and we're going so slow. So I'm going like 10 miles for like, a 2 mile period or whatever. And the sun hits me right in the eyes like this. I swear to Christ, I fell asleep for like 30 seconds, and I was like this. And then someone honked. I go, oh, gee, it's like 7:30 in the morning. I was so tired. I just got done.
That's good stuff, man. I was gonna say too, all the Milton and Lumberg scenes, either individually or together.
They piss me off. Can I say something? They piss me off.
Why they piss you off?
Fuck Lumberg.
What a great actor, though, right? You hate him because
it's a good character. I hate the unnecessarily coldness of like, why would he take the stapler? Why does he take the stapler?
Do you know Swingline staplers like sales for those red ones? Exponentially after that movie.
Actually, they didn't make it originally. They didn't make it for the movie.
But explain to me why that scene exists, though, of Lumberg where he reaches over his shoulder and goes,
yeah.
And then he goes the next scene to take it. It makes no sense, and it pisses me off.
It's a power move.
I believe Milton said in the beginning that he had taken it from him and he took it back. So I think they've done this before with the back and forth.
So even so, still doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. Sorry, continue.
Because Lumberg's an asshole. You know what? They want you to hate him.
But unnecessarily an asshole for no reason. I get the bottom line stuff, which is a constant theme throughout it.
I like how they fired him, but just didn't tell him.
Yeah, so he just fucks with Milton.
We fixed the issue.
We fixed the glitch.
Well, that's also John C. McGinley doing that.
Yeah, that's so good.
Sorry, I just derailed you. Go ahead.
All right, if there's no more scenes anybody wants to mention,
moving on.
We can go to quotes. Let's do quotes. Bobby starts off. What do you got?
You know what? My favorite quote comes at the very end of the movie, and I'll give you guys a guess on what that is.
Fucking A.
There it is. That's my favorite quote.
Fucking A.
I love it, and everything kind of culminating to that experience. Then, oh, fucking A. You know, I was like, yep, that wraps up the movie
Fucking
perfectly. Put a bow on it.
No, dude, for sure, man. Lawrence, I'm going to say pretty much every time he spoke, it's a quotable line for sure.
With the doubling up on me with the chicks. Preston Jeremy on Channel 9.
I don't want you to fuck up my life, too.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Don't worry, man. I won't tell nobody neither. Who
the fuck is that? Don't worry, he's cool.
Yeah. That was good.
But yeah, the Lawrence though character just in general, man. Like even the last time, not the last time, but the time before he goes to Peter's like, I'm going to jail, man. I'm gonna be gone for a long time. He goes, man, don't get
protect your cornhole or something.
Yeah,
like
protect your cornhole.
I also love the Lawrence quote when he's like, you don't need $1 million. Don't do nothing, man. Look at my cousin. He broke. Don't do shit.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw him out there as like any
all Lawrence
fucking things.
Quotes,
all Lawrence.
All right, moving it out of Lawrence though territory. Throw something else out.
I fucking love anything with Tom. That Tom guy gets me. When he's talking about, he's like, they're walking back to the office, like, just I thought of having to go stay at an unemployment office to stay in line with those scumbags.
Oh, yeah.
And
I like when he's yelling at, what was it, Peter, where he's like, yeah, I've been at this job for 30 years. I didn't complain as much. Like, he basically giving him the business. That made me laugh.
His whole jump to conclusions thing is so funny, too. It's just like a terrible idea, but it's kind of like clever but dumb. It's so funny. And the whole case of the Mondays thing. Somebody
I think you get your ass kicked for something like that.
Hey, no.
Of course,
shit, no.
Samir's not gonna work here anymore. And the one I always use, the one I always use is, what would you say you do here when someone's like a bad coworker?
Yeah.
I like that one, and the other one.
TPS reports.
No, this one really was an underrated one. I thought where it was like Peter and Jennifer Aniston in the car, and they're talking about the pieces of flair. He's like, the Nazis made the Jews wear pieces of
dude,
flair.
I totally forgot about that line.
That one was so funny. I
totally forgot about that.
That was great. Oh man,
that was a wild turn right
again,
there.
Of course, and also anything that Drew says, show her my O face. And she gets around like a record, and he's just like the whole time.
Love
hell,
his comedic
Lumberg fucked
presence.
her.
Yeah, hell, Lumberg fucked her.
I think that's probably one of the most quotable things in that.
It
movie.
really is.
One
dude,
we always
for
use
sure.
is that may be, but at least I didn't sleep with Lumberg. That's a good one too. There's so many. You could go on all day.
I mean, I do like the deadpan of again, I
got one. Sorry, last one. Federal pound.
I mean, the ass prison.
Yeah, that one. I just crack up on that.
Of course, just in general, like Lumberg and Milton, just in general, him saying, "I'll set the building on fire," and the whole Lumberg shtick with it. That'd be great.
Hi,
Peter, what's happening? How many times?
I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I'm a pussy, and I will.
Big fucking pussy. I'm gonna do it. All right. So I think we nailed the most.
We did the whole movie basically.
Yeah.
There you go. Spoilers.
Kind of, but we forgot one, and I am going to end on this one, though. When Samir is quoting the song coming out of the thing, he's like, back up in your ass with the resurrection. Like, he's like fucking feeling it, dude. It's the greatest.
Good vibes.
This fucking printer piece of shit. Gets me every time. All right. So let's talk about, I was going to say the use of the 90s rap for this movie, I really think made the movie.
Can we start at the beginning, please?
Go ahead, yeah. So I was gonna say our favorite needle drop for the movie, favorite song. We can just, everyone just go through the song, a couple songs. Go ahead, Woj.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, the gangster rap was for sure. It was a great theme, like throughout the movie, where I liked where they just played in some crucial scenes that was like, this is awesome. I love this. I really though, my favorite kind of music is the opening part. And then the closing part, because if you remember, the opening part is like a little elevator music type of thing, like da 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 da, and then he's getting increasingly angry throughout the day. I also thought it was hilarious though, is that Peter was like at one point he goes, "Every day is the worst day of my life.
Oh my god!
Every day gets increasingly worse." He's like,
"Today is the worst."
But then he goes, "Is today the worst day of your life?" He goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "Oh, that's messed up."
Messed up. You're the therapist. Yeah.
Shit, how did we not sing it? But that kind of music, and then at the end, it's like a little trumpet thing.
Yeah.
And I like though that it contrasted so well though, whereas like little dinky music or whatever, and then gangster rap breaking the thing.
So what though of the songs what would be your favorite, or you had to pick one?
I mean, if you're talking about the actual title of a song, it's Ghetto Boys.
Damn, it feels good to be.
Damn,
a
it feels good to be a gangster. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that summarizes the tipping point for our guys.
I think most people would say that. For me, I'm gonna go outside the box here. And I'm gonna go with the either the Destroying the Printer Ghetto Boys song Still, or the Ice Cube one for the montage when they're passing the discs.
Oh yeah,
Down for Whatever. That's probably my favorite, honestly.
That's a good rap song.
I play that in my car a lot, and I just think about Office Space. Like,
and they're trying to act all covert out to the
easy.
floppy disk. That was
they're
great.
They're spinning in the chairs and past that. I love that part.
It's one mundane detail. It's a very important detail.
Mundane detail, Michael.
Michael, yeah.
All right, so now let's go to, I'm pronounce his name, Raid Serge Beacha, a.k.a. Boris the Blade Awards for it's the That Guy Award. The guy, we don't know his name. We see him in a bunch of movies and television, but we don't know him. We know him by his characters more than his actual real name. Who'd you guys have for that? Anybody you want to nominate?
Bobby, go for it.
I was gonna say I'm not certain if many of the characters from this one would fit the bill for that metric, but I think that Lumbergh, he's been in quite a few things.
I think Lumbergh's debatable. Some people know him as Gary Cole. Some people I do just because he grew up. He was friends with my father,
right?
Growing up, but most people might not. Some people might. So I could see that.
Oh fuck! Did you say that on the podcast?
No, I did not. I did not mention.
Just say that shit. That's dope.
My father grew up like a few blocks away from Gary Cole, growing up in Rolling Meadows.
He's from Rolling Meadows.
Yeah, Gary
before
Cole.
He was famous. Gary Cole's Bill Lumbergh in the movie.
He's an Illinois boy.
So that's probably why I knew the movie, especially too, because my dad was like, "Oh, it's my friend Gary Cole." So I'd be like, "Oh, cool. I'm gonna watch this movie."
Wayne Dog.
Woj, who'd you have? I have a handful. So go ahead.
Richard Ryle. Tom
Yes,
Smrokowski
I had Tom, yes.
is for sure one of those.
That guy, he's in The Fugitive. He's in Crown for Life. A bunch of other things.
And then this was my introduction to Orlando Jones, who I fucking love.
Okay.
In everything. So this is what my problem is that
Orlando Jones with a subscription magazine.
Well, see, I think people know him now. He's probably that guy then, but not now.
This is my problem, man. Is that I became a real movie. I love movies so much, again, college time, because I had so much time, even in high school, but I had so much time to watch shit and, sit down.
Yeah.
Orlando Jones, though, again, is one of those guys that at that time I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then eventually he ended up being early 2000s. He was in a bunch. He was in that Eddie Griffin movie.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of other shit. And he was on Mad TV. Also, Mad TV runs a little line through this.
Sure.
There's a couple guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay, so I also had Tom that you mentioned. I had the hypnotist. I don't know his name, but he's also he's the scientist in Richie Rich.
Right, you're right.
I also had Bob Porter, so not John C. McGinley, but the other guy. He's in a bunch of things. The guy who's not gonna work here anymore.
Oh, okay.
Drew. I only know him as Drew. I don't know
the actor's name.
And then I think this guy would be the winner.
Greg Pitts for Drew.
This guy's gonna be the winner for me. Is Peter's other boss besides Lumbergh? He's also the Little Giants Cowboys assistant coach in the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember.
So that's a very
Little Giants.
Joe Bays is who you're
niche
talking about.
Thing,
You're right. You're right.
Those would be that'd probably be my winner, or Tom. I think.
I think Tom probably gets more of the
for sure. He's
lion's share for this category.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So now, anything else you want to add, Woj?
Yes, I do. I want to add that his name is Michael McShane, Dr. Swanson.
There you go.
Okay, that guy's the guy from Richie Rich.
Also, sorry, just one real quick thing that does, again, as you watch the movie a couple times, you do get a little bit more of why the fuck is that happening? In the hypnotist room, he's treating 4 patients at a time.
Oh, you're saying
he's treating them?
Picking it is why is he
group therapy?
It's a group therapy thing that I just realized where I'm interesting. I don't know why they're. It's just a weird thing to think.
Can I have my little pinnacle moment where just that aha was? You know how they had that conversation about $1 million? What would you do if you had $1 million? That exercise they talked about at the cubicle. In this movie itself, Tom gets in that car accident and he gets, let's say, $1 million settlement. So his goal, I guess if asked him, that jump to conclusions game was his like, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? He put together a prototype of a really dumb game, but it came full circle.
It was literally, I mean, when he laid it out, it literally was the worst idea of a game. He's like,
and then
it is very, very terrible.
And then to kind of sidebar this, Milton, he got a bunch of money from those cashier checks, before he set the place aflame, and he just vacationed his ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, as some balls to just take that just because you don't know how it's traced or what's going on.
But then he set a fire soon thereafter, so it was covering your tracks pretty well.
But it is a nice thing though of like Milton. I mean, dude, this is such a weird thing. They covered his tracks even more though because they fixed the glitch in the system. So he's not even in the system on payroll, and they can be like, "Oh, well, this guy was terminated 5 years ago. He's not going to be the culprit. He's not going to hold a 5-year grudge or whatever." It's just like I literally put that all together at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to I'm calling it the Sixth Man or the Jamal Crawford Award. We could call it something else. Just basically a favorite performance of a guy who's not part of the main group of the movie, like not like a Peter or Michael or Samir, or even maybe a Milner but Lumberg. Someone who's only maybe a scene or two, a few minutes. Who would you guys nominate for that?
I think mine was already the Drew character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found his comedic timing excellent. He provided a fun, that one younger guy in the office who's just cracking the whip and like
he was.
Yeah.
How about you, Woj?
What was the definition again?
So it's like guy
minimal screen presence. He's an ancillary character, a drop-in character.
Oh, okay. Lawrence. For sure.
Okay, yeah, that would be my vote as well for Lawrence. I'd also shout out Tom and definitely Drew.
Mm-hmm. I really like Tom's character.
And also a guy who wouldn't win, but I just want to shout him out too. The waiter Brian from Tchotchkes.
Yeah, Tchotchkes.
That guy with the machine gun thing, or you flicks him off in the parking lot.
That's nostalgia for me. That's 90s nostalgia. Yeah. What was that supposed to be? That restaurant was that TGI Fridays?
TGI Fridays. Dude, but did you realize that they have a Tchotchkes, a Flingers, and a Chili's all right next door.
Yeah.
In the same plaza.
Not good planning.
It's so funny. I mean, again, the movie, as you get older in my mind, it gets so much funnier when you just kind of notice these little nuanced
more relatable
things.
Too. Yeah.
So
yeah, a little more relatable.
This could be any actor in the movie. Who was your favorite performance in the movie? It could be anybody. It could be Ron Livingston. Could be Bill Lumberg. Could be whatever. Pick anybody.
Michael Bolton, I think that he really embodied the role. I really enjoyed his character, his what he brought to the table for that trio. So I know that's probably not everyone's favorite, but I think Michael Bolton, I think his character really brought it to that next level within that group.
How about you, Woj?
John C. McGinley is the one of the Bobs.
Bob.
Who's your favorite of anybody of the whole movie?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, that's good. I got to go with Lawrence. I just have a hard time not picking him. If it's not him, probably go.
Well, see, that's the thing with mine is that I pick Lawrence as like the sixth man.
Oh, you want like a different? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going different. I'll go Lumberg.
No, I'm just saying it's like my train thought process was that like you have the not really known guy, which this is unfortunately a movie where a lot of those guys weren't really known, didn't really have a lot of. And then you also have the sixth man, and then you have like the favorite character.
Well, it could be but the favorite could be the sixth man.
Well, this is my thing though.
Your favorite,
I guess, is that Ron Livingston and Samir and Michael, like they were all good. Michael, I would say, is my favorite of those guys of his comedic timing and what he puts into it. I just again wouldn't think of like the movie wouldn't be the movie without Lawrence. You mentioned Lumberg, and then also who the fuck did I just mention?
I think I consider Peter if we're trying to put this into
who did I just
terms,
mention? Hold on,
Ron Livingston or
no, the guy that I just
Samir?
mentioned. No, who did I just mention that you had a problem with?
Oh, you on a Bob? John C.
Yeah, John C. McGinley, Bob.
I have no problem with it.
The consultants of stuff. Like I'm just saying,
it could be your favorite.
Okay, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to prove my argument of like this is why I chose him. But go ahead.
The reason why Ron Livingston did such a great job for this role, but the reason why I don't consider him like my favorite actor, but consider this if you will, Jerry Seinfeld at Seinfeld. Is he your favorite actor on Seinfeld? No, but he's the bread. Think about if it's a sandwich. You still need the bread to make the sandwich, but I consider he's holding it together, and I consider Ron Livingston filling that same type of spot.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm not The question isn't like who's most important to the movie. It's just who's
right. No, I'm just saying
your
he did a
favorite?
great job though because he really like his role. I think it really was
Sure.
a good transition for him. Just not my personal favorite.
Who was your favorite? That's
I
all.
think that you're absolutely right though in that like he is somebody who like again he's a great person in the movie, but also like it's a good role. But again, there's other characters that in my mind outshine him. Same kind of way in Seinfeld is. Seinfeld is never the guy that I'm like. He killed it that episode. He was the best.
Right.
I mean, most of the time, usually there's other kind of characters.
Okay, I'm just gonna fly through this really quick. I had a What's Age Well, Hating Your Job, just office comedies, and then what hasn't aged well, floppy disks and Y2K.
Yeah, that whole genre of movies seems definitely.
We were all
outdated.
terrified right around going into 2000. A lot of our
for-
parents were nervous.
Hey, for a most cinematic shot, either Dr. Swanson collapses, the overhead shot, or the disc swapping montage, where they're in the chairs and they're swapping the discs. You
I
guys
enjoyed that. I thought that was funny.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to speed through it that much, man. Slow it down.
we're in good shape.
Okay,
Yeah,
do you guys
we-
have anything like that? Any age well or not age well you want to mention?
I'm gonna
Or
echo.
cinematic shots.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo you on the not age well as the bulky computer
Right.
type of thing. You either kind of
the
at this
fax
point need to
machine.
go super far back, like Apple style, like where
Yeah.
they're creating that stuff for me to get really energized into it, or super advanced in the future. Y2K, I fucking hate that whole concept of that bullshit.
It was a real thing.
You
at
know
the
what
time.
sticks in my head though? What's her name? Accounts payable. Just a moment.
Just
Like,
a moment.
oh my god! Like I could hear that
Right here.
right there. Yeah,
Right
in
there
my
in the
mind,
back of
right
the
there in
head,
the
yeah.
back.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
The other thing, the most cinematic shots, though, I mean, again, my favorite scene is them fucking up the copier for sure. But I would also throw out the at the end of the movie, which again is kind of a cheating, like a little cheat code of like the end of the movie is some resolution. Peter does find happiness, and he's just sitting out there. Literally picking up the building that he just burned down. I just kind of like that shot of just like going out on a
Full
high
circle.
note. Yeah.
Anything for you?
So cinematic, like I said, the building actually being on fire and everyone kind of standing outside.
that's
I
cool.
really
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
enjoyed that scene for what it's worth. This isn't anything like where you're gonna get big, majestic, landscape shots. But like I think right there that for me that was like, yeah, we've all kind of been at that place one or another. Not so much where we're watching something burn down, but kind of like just watching something unfold. Like, and you're just you're helpless to stop it.
So
Okay.
I just really quick, I had some picky nits or unanswerable questions.
Sure,
I just
go.
Had, would burning the building down really solve everything and keep Peter and everybody in the clear? Like, don't they have anything on the computers? Or are all the computers, all the files?
Okay, so I know exactly what you're getting
You
at,
know what I'm
and
saying?
I can
Like, just because the building burned down, does that mean?
So I can tell you exactly where the software and the development of that in '99 is. Obviously, you have to think that it's nowhere near the capacity of what we have
is it
right now.
At the time, you're saying it was possible.
And if
So
they
what-
had on-site data storage, if that burned down, there's no way you could recover it.
But also in the fact of the way that they did it and the fact that they closed out the transaction. I also noticed this. They're using Initech Bank. So it's within the system that they already know.
Okay.
And there's probably some, again, future parts. I'm getting real nerded out on
That's
this.
okay.
But there's probably some other additional things that they've done to cover their track so that you can't trace the account back to them, which they closed out.
like they wouldn't put their name to it. They'd probably use a false,
No, that's cool. I didn't know if that was going to be so cut and dry just because the building burned
but also
down.
the fact that Milton took the envelope,
Sure.
then
Milton
also
would be the one that would be in the
Yeah.
crosshairs.
adds the cherry on top. Yeah.
All right, so Alex, unanswerable questions.
Correct. Milton would be the key because he knows Peter fucking screwed the company.
And you know what? That's kind of cool to think of. Milton knew, maybe not about Peter. He knew that because Peter signed it, right? He put his name to that.
Yeah,
thing.
he said,
so
"I did it."
Milton, dude, call that guy a gangster because he knew Peter, screwed him over. He's like, I'm going to just take this money. I'm going to keep this
Yeah.
secret.
Milton, don't snitch, man.
Yeah, no,
Do you
don't
guys,
stitch.
how long do you guys think Peter stuck with the construction for? Do you think he was with it for a while, or do you think he quit shortly after? Do you think he liked it?
Definitely didn't stay in there for his entire life, but definitely a couple years at least.
Yeah, I'd kind of
Okay.
same
Do
sentiment.
you think that Peter stayed friends with Michael and Samir afterwards? No, they're not.
I think
cool.
almost certainly. And I think he had a better relationship with his neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as Peter stayed in the same area, that's the biggest thing. Which also, if you guys caught it, the
Proximity, yeah.
And then,
his condominium thing was Morningwood.
since
Oh, really?
since
Yeah.
the building burned down, does that mean the Initech was done for good, or do you think they rebuilt it?
You could see that they had a common theme in the movie of Intertrode and Attack. It's just one after another.
So they're probably done, you think?
No.
Or you think?
There's literally a one right across in the same
No, I know what I'm
town.
saying.
So
But this
No, I
was-
think the company itself, since they were going through consulting, they might bring in a smaller sized firm style.
I'm just saying that if it wasn't in Attack, it's another company of the same degree.
That is funny because back then that was the 90s bubble. Everyone had a software company.
Right, exactly. It's a
right.
comment on the time.
Cool. All right, so
We at the grading.
yeah. What do you guys give the movie,
Give us
Bobby?
I'm going to give it a 9.3. I thought it was, like I said, really well done, start to finish. There was a good, character loop. I didn't feel that there was there were too many unnecessary scenes or situations that I didn't quite comprehend. So, like I said, I felt, and I liked it that it was A to B, not I'm going to start off with B and then we're going to backtrack.
Linear,
So,
yeah,
like a very linear. I like those styles.
Yeah, you're saying linear and good pace. I definitely agree with both of
Oh,
those.
you Woj.
I'm going to do 9.6 because it's 6.9 reversed. But again, it's
very mature.
definitely easily one of my top 10 movies. Again, more now because you've gone through that grind and you literally see these people like in just fractions of like what you've experienced sometimes. And I'm just like, yeah, I know that lady.
I know that
Her
feeling.
lady was
yeah.
that was Kathy. Is that Kathy,
Nice.
bitch?
I went
motherfucker?
with 9.4.
Okay, nice.
Oh,
We're all in the
we're
nines.
all right
Yeah, well,
there.
it used to be my favorite movie when I was growing up. I would say now it's for sure at least in my top 50 movies, probably. So I mean, it's definitely an A to A plus.
All right,
you know,
so
it's-
are we moving to the rent own, right?
Oh yeah, so I own it. I would own it. I actually have it on DVD. I need to get the Blu-ray. I need to upgrade.
I own it.
Why do you need the Blu-ray? What kind of feature
Well, I guess for
functionality?
office space I don't have to, but I'd
Jeez
like to
Louise.
just. It's just.
All right, that's your taste. I get it.
I own it.
Okay.
I'd own it too. Like I said, go out and buy it. If not, like
Right.
put it on your Amazon
I-
digital copy.
I had one more category. I'm gonna sneak in
Sure.
there really quick. What's one item from the movie you'd like to own? For me, I'd like to jump to conclusions, Matt. If I could pick something.
Yikes, that's a rough one in my mind.
I-
This
No,
is
it's
gonna
just-
make me materialistic.
Like
Give
if
me the
people came
Porsche.
over and they were like, "Hey, what do you want?"
The Porsche.
Okay, well, yeah.
I mean, you're a Porsche man. So
Outside of the
Porsche
nice
man.
car, yeah.
Hey, you said.
That's true. No, I did. How about you, Woj?
I'm kind of weird like that. I would like either a memo or like the TPS report
Nice, that'd be
thing.
cool.
I think that'd be kind of
I
cool.
thought
That'd
it was,
be a fun one,
I thought
yeah.
it was surprising no one took the red stapler.
It's 2 on the nose.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well that's all I have. Bobby, you have a movie, I believe you were.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
So-
let's tease it for next
so
week.
I'm going with 1968 Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. So that'll be our next
Awesome.
video that we guys are gonna watch. Now, keep in mind 1968. So really try to understand how incredible these special effects are, because this is, I think, when John Lennon was, still relevant and alive.
Yeah, most people don't know who that is. But yeah, that'll be for the next time that we do a movie review. I don't want to commit. I just said next week, but I don't want to commit to it in case we have to push
Within
it or
the
whatever.
next couple.
We do have some exciting stuff coming up, though. We got the kick of destiny. We have
It's not happening.
that's
yeah.
me kicking a
And
45-yard
our
field
IHOP
goal.
hour,
The Miss
yeah.
of Destiny.
And then we also have fuck you, and we also have the IHOP challenge coming up. But we stay tuned, ladies and gents, for another exciting installment of the Fantasy Football Journeymen podcast for Woj.
Ryan.
And you got Bobby.
Talk to y'all at another time.
Hey.